All right, for this drill, we're going to do a prone banded ER and IR, internal and external rotation of the hip. So what I'm going to do is a light band here. I'm just going to wrap it around Jared's foot, and I'm going to make sure he's in more of a neutral position. I don't want this knee to be out to the side. If you can see that there, so straight line shoulder through the glute, through the knee. And I'm going to pull him into, this is actually internal rotation of the leg. The foot's going out, but it's actually internal rotation of the femur. Now he's going to pull in all the way as far as he can, and then he's going to allow, this is actually going to be a stretch for him. I'm not having a whole lot of resistance here. There's almost slack in this band. So it's a light resisted band. He's pulling, 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 pulling. He should feel this all around that femur as it goes into the hip socket. So a lot of hip work here, working internal rotation, or excuse me, he's stretching internal, and then he's trying to strengthen external rotation on both sides. So Jared's not that great as far as his range of motion of his hips. So we should be able to get in there a little bit. It's not like your foot's gonna come all the way out to the side and then go all the way in, because if he does that, if he did that, he's gonna hike this glute up and he's gonna make a compensation. And once you see that hip go up, you're pretty much past in range. So he's gonna go all the way here. So I'm kinda, as I'm cueing him, just watching this glute. So he's gonna go in as far as he can. You see the struggle here. So this is a pretty tough drill, but also should feel fairly good, especially when you get out to this end range as he stretches there. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this band on and go the opposite direction. So I'll flip over here in front of the camera, and now I'm gonna pull him into external rotation. You see the more range of motion he has there. So now he's gonna activate that glute and go into internal rotation. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. He's trying to just maximize that rotation as far as possible. So I'm pulling him into a stretch on external rotation, and then he's strengthening his internal rotation. We'll do this on both sides. There's no sense in me shooting the video from both ways, but just know here that I'll flip around. So this band here is a super light band. Yellow is our lightest band. You can't go to a red, but the strength of the band is not significant as far as you don't need a heavy band. So I'm just barely trying to pull him into excess of his range of motion. And if we can gain 1, 2, 3 degrees of internal and external range of motion, especially prior to going into our lift, I think that's a win. Okay, so we're not pulling him really far. If you see the hip hike whenever he goes into certain positions, we've gone too far. So for right now, I'm kind of applying a little bit of resistance here. So that's probably in range on his internal rotation. And then this is about in range on his external rotation. If I really wanted to do this manually, I'd push against his glute, or really pushing his femur into the hip socket to where he cannot cheat that. And that's pretty much in range there. And then the same thing as we get in that position. So we'll do both sides here. Really check to make sure we're not making compensations throughout the hips, shoulders, and all that. Keep everything in a straight line. Make sure as we do it, the hip does, or the knee doesn't come out. So we're getting a good straight line from the shoulders through the hips and the knee. So yeah, try to stretch into extra range of motion that you already have. Strengthen the opposite direction. We'll push pull from both ways, both legs.